The night sky over Outpost Vega shimmered with stars, calm and silent. Inside the human settlement, scientists worked quietly, monitoring data streams and communicating with Earth. Life had been routine here, far from Earth, in the remote corners of the galaxy. They were explorers, researchers, pioneers, but they were not ready for war. Without warning, a shadow fell across the outpost. Alarms blared. Bright, violent flashes lit the sky as the first alien ships descended. Humans scrambled, stunned by the sudden attack. Nobody understood who these attackers were. The ships moved like living predators, silent yet deadly. Explosions tore through buildings, sending smoke and fire into the sky. Screams echoed across the base. As the outpost's defenses tried desperately to respond, Lieutenant Mara Ellis ran through the corridors, helping injured scientists and soldiers alike. Her heart pounded, but she forced herself to focus. Outside, the attackers were everywhere, their ships fast, advanced, and terrifyingly organized. Humans fired everything they had: lasers, missiles, plasma cannons, but the alien technology easily absorbed or deflected the attacks. Commander Reyes took charge from the command center, shouting orders over the chaos. Evacuate the research labs. Protect the civilians. Hold them off as long as possible. His voice was calm but firm, the kind of voice that inspired people to act even in the face of death. The aliens showed no mercy. They targeted critical systems first, cutting off communications and power. The humans realized quickly that this was not a raid, it was a deliberate strike to erase them completely. Every attempt at negotiation or warning had failed. Outside the main window of the command center, Mara saw the most terrifying sight yet. One alien ship hovered above the central habitat dome. It emitted a strange, pulsing energy. Within seconds, the dome's structure melted as if it had been made of paper. The humans inside screamed as the dome collapsed, taking lives and research with it. Panic spread like wildfire. Soldiers tried to regroup, civilians ran blindly, and the alarms never stopped ringing. Yet even in this chaos, some humans refused to give in. Mara helped a group of children into an escape shuttle, pushing herself past exhaustion. The shuttle engines roared to life, lifting them off the ground as the outpost burned behind them. Back in orbit, the survivors looked down at the devastation. Outpost Vega was gone. What had once been a thriving research hub was now a smoldering ruin. The aliens were not just attacking, they were sending a message. Humanity had been caught off guard, and now the galaxy had witnessed Earth's vulnerability. Earth received the distress signal hours later. By then, the attack was over, but the damage was clear. Governments convened emergency meetings. Military leaders debated strategies, while scientists analyzed the alien technology, desperate to understand what had happened. Every message, every report, every image from Vega painted the same picture. Humans were under threat, and the attackers were stronger, faster, and smarter than anything they had ever faced. Despite the fear, a different feeling began to rise among Earth's leaders: rage, determination. Humanity had survived countless challenges before, but this attack crossed a line. These aliens had destroyed a human outpost not out of necessity, but out of cruelty, and Earth would respond. Scientists worked around the clock to analyze alien ships, weapons, and technology. Engineers sketched plans for new defenses and countermeasures. Soldiers trained relentlessly, preparing for a fight unlike any they had ever imagined. The world was on edge, but for the first time, a global unity formed. Old rivalries were set aside. Nations realized that survival depended not on arguing over borders, but on standing together against this new threat. Meanwhile, the alien attackers returned to their fleets, leaving Vega in ruins. They communicated with each other in a strange, melodic language, completely alien to human ears. Their confidence was absolute. They believed humanity was weak, unprepared, and incapable of retaliation. They had no idea what awaited them deep within Earth's command centers. The first plans for retaliation began to take shape. They were bold, dangerous, and unlike anything humans had tried before. But in this moment, Earth's leaders knew one thing clearly: the galaxy had made a mistake. They had underestimated humanity, and humanity never forgave underestimation. Earth was never quiet after the news of Vega. Streets buzzed with activity. But it wasn't everyday life. This was a planet preparing for war. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked together in ways never seen before. The attack had shaken humanity, but it had also awakened something fierce. Humans were angry, and anger had a way of turning fear into action. Commander Reyes stood in the Global Defense Center, looking at holograms of alien ships. Every detail mattered. Every pattern, every movement, every weakness was studied. The aliens had advanced weapons, energy shields, and fast ships that made Earth's old fleets look like toys. While humans were stubborn and stubbornness was a trait no alien could predict, Mara Ellis joined him, exhausted but determined. "We can't just defend ourselves," she said. "We have to hit them back. Show them that destroying one outpost will not go unanswered." Reyes nodded. "We will, but we need precision. A single mistake, and we risk another Vega 12. For weeks, Earth worked in secret. New warships were designed, faster and stronger than ever. Weapons were built using alien technology scavenged from Vega 12 data transmissions. Scientists developed energy shields that could withstand the aliens' initial attacks, and new missiles that could pierce their defenses. Humanity learned quickly, and they learned together. Meanwhile, news of Vega 12's destruction spread across colonies and space stations. Fear lingered, but it also stirred hope. If humans could survive this attack and start fighting back, it meant they were stronger than anyone believed. The first step was reconnaissance. Small human fleets, cloaked and fast, were sent to scout the alien homeworlds. Mara was chosen to lead one of these missions. Her crew was handpicked, elite pilots, brilliant engineers, and fearless soldiers. Their task was simple in words, impossible in practice: gather intelligence, strike lightly if possible, and return alive. As the reconnaissance fleet left Earth's orbit, the silence of space felt heavier than ever. Mara watched the stars pass by, thinking of Vega 12. She remembered the screams, the fire, the helpless scientists. She also remembered the small acts of bravery of the pilot who shielded the shuttle, the engineer who saved a critical lab. Humanity had suffered, but it had also shown courage. That courage would not be wasted. When the fleet approached the alien-controlled systems, they discovered a horrifying truth. The aliens were not a single race, they were a coalition of species, each more dangerous than the last. Ships patrolled in tight formations, and every planet was heavily fortified. It was clear that a direct attack was impossible. Any mistake would mean death for the entire human fleet. Mara and her team decided to observe first. They watched alien patrols, recorded ship movements, and studied their communication patterns. Slowly, they began to understand how these aliens thought, how they fought, and how they could be beaten. It was like solving a puzzle where failure meant extinction. Back on Earth, the leaders prepared for a bold decision. They could no longer wait. Humanity had to strike, but it had to be precise, devastating, and symbolic. The attack on Vega 12 was meant to scare humans. The retaliation had to show the galaxy something much stronger, that humans were not to be underestimated. Finally, the moment came. The human fleets assembled quietly at the edge of the galaxy, cloaked from alien sensors. Each ship was loaded with advanced weapons, each pilot trained to the highest standard. The mission was clear: strike an alien outpost, send a warning, and return. Mara's heart pounded as she checked the systems of her ship. Around her, her crew moved with the calm focus of people who had faced death and decided to fight anyway. They were ready, and for the first time since Vega 12, she felt a sense of hope. The first attack was surgical. Human ships hit a small alien installation, bypassing defenses, disabling their shields, and destroying weapons with precision strikes. Alien ships scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The humans had vanished before the aliens could mount a counterattack. Back on Earth, cheers erupted. Humanity had struck back. Vega 12's memory still burned in the hearts of humans, but so did the knowledge that they could fight. They were not helpless. They were strong. They were dangerous. And the galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humanity was the gravest mistake anyone could make. Mara watched the stars fade as they returned home. The path ahead was still long and dangerous. The alien coalition was vast, and their strength was overwhelming. But one thing was certain: the war had begun, and humanity was no longer just a victim. They had become a threat, and threats demanded attention. Earth had felt the first victory, but there was no time to celebrate. Vega 12 was gone, but humanity had sent a clear message: they could fight back. The alien coalition, however, did not take this lightly. Intelligence reports showed fleets mobilizing across the galaxy, preparing to respond with overwhelming force. Humans had provoked their curiosity and their anger. Commander Reyes and his team studied the alien fleets. Every move, every formation, every pattern of attack was analyzed. They discovered something important. the aliens relied heavily on coordinated attacks and communication signals. Disrupt the signals, and their efficiency dropped. Human engineers immediately began designing jammers and hacking systems capable of sowing chaos among the enemy lines. Mara Ellis prepared her ship and crew for the next mission. This time, it was larger, more dangerous, but also more crucial. They were to infiltrate a heavily guarded alien research station that contained data on the Coalition's fleet movements. Capturing or destroying this data could give humanity a strategic advantage, something they desperately needed to survive. The journey to the alien station was tense. Mara and her crew navigated through asteroid fields, dodged patrols, and remained hidden from alien sensors. The silence of space was broken only by the hum of the ship's engines and the occasional communication ping. Every crew member knew the risks. Every misstep could be fatal. As they approached the station, it became clear how well the aliens had prepared. Massive defense turrets surrounded the structure, and fast interceptors patrolled in a tight orbit. The station itself was a fortress, bristling with technology beyond anything humanity had seen firsthand. But Mara and her team were ready. They had studied the station schematics, identified weak points, and prepared for precise, coordinated strikes. The attack began silently. Human ships approached from multiple angles, avoiding main defense lines. Mara's team targeted a communications array first, disabling the station sensors. The alien defenders reacted, sending interceptors to engage, but humans had planned for this. They drew the ships into a trap, using decoy drones and electronic jamming to confuse enemy pilots. Inside the station, Mara's elite boarding team infiltrated the core. Soldiers moved quickly, avoiding patrols and neutralizing alien guards with efficiency. They found the data vault and began transferring critical information. Every second counted. Outside, the human fleet engaged in a delicate dance with alien defenses, attacking only what was necessary to prevent the station from calling reinforcements. The aliens soon realized they were under attack. Their response was swift and brutal. Energy beams lashed across space, and explosions rocked the human ships. Mara's heart raced as her ship shook violently, but she stayed focused, guiding her crew through the chaos. Every maneuver was calculated, every decision mattered. Finally, the data transfer was complete. The humans retreated from the station, but the aliens were not finished. A fleet of interceptor ships pursued them, determined to prevent their escape. Mara gave the order to engage the jamming systems. Alien ships became confused, their communication scrambled, and their coordination faltered. This gave humans the advantage they needed. The escape through the asteroid field was tense. Ships narrowly avoided collisions, engines pushed to the limit, and every moment felt like a gamble with death. Yet, one by one, the human fleet slipped through the defenses. Mara's ship led the way, weaving between massive asteroids, finally reaching open space where speed could be used to outrun the enemy. Back on Earth, the success of the mission sparked both relief and exhilaration. Humanity had struck deep into enemy territory, gathered critical intelligence, and returned alive. The data revealed the alien fleet's vulnerabilities, their supply lines, and the locations of major installations. It was information that could change the course of the war, but the victory was not without cost. Several human ships had been damaged, and lives were lost. Mara held a moment of silence for those who would never see Earth again. Their sacrifice had made this victory possible, and humanity would honor them by using this advantage wisely. The war was escalating. Humans were no longer the hunted, they were the hunters. Plans for larger attacks began forming. Earth's leaders understood one truth more clearly than ever: the galaxy underestimated humanity at its own peril. Each attack, each mission, each victory was another message sent across the stars. Humans would not be destroyed quietly. Mara looked at the stars, her eyes hardened with determination. Vega 12 had fallen, but humanity had risen, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The galaxy had begun to notice. Reports of human strikes and successful raids spread through the alien coalition, sowing doubt and fear among their ranks. For centuries, the aliens had believed they were superior, untouchable. But the attacks from Earth were changing everything. Humans were no longer just survivors, they were a threat. Commander Reyes stood on the deck of the flagship Resolute, overlooking the fleet. Ships of all sizes and classes filled the starfield, their weapons humming softly, ready for action. The data Mara's team had retrieved from the alien station had given them a plan, one bold, daring, and dangerous. The mission: strike a key supply hub deep inside enemy territory, destroy it, and the alien fleet's movements would slow, giving humans an edge they had never had before. Mara Ellis prepared her crew once again. Each member had seen what humans could endure and survive. They had faced death at Vega 12, dodged annihilation on the reconnaissance mission, and now they were about to challenge the aliens on an even larger scale. They trained tirelessly, reviewed strategies, and ran simulations until every action became instinct. The journey to the alien hub was tense. Human ships moved in tight formations, cloaked from alien sensors, hiding their numbers until the last possible moment. Every captain understood the risk. One mistake could trigger an all-out assault, destroying the fleet before the attack even began. When they reached the hub, it was a massive structure orbiting a barren planet, protected by multiple layers of defense. Energy shields pulsed in a rhythmic pattern, while turrets rotated slowly, scanning for intruders. But the humans had studied this carefully. They knew the shield's timing, the weak points in the defenses, and how to strike without losing too many ships. The attack began quietly. Mara's ship led a squadron through a narrow asteroid field, avoiding sensors and patrolling ships. Their goal was the shield generators destroy them, and the hub would be exposed. The human pilots moved with precision, weaving between obstacles and enemy fire. Relying on timing and coordination, explosions lit the void as the generators were hit. The hub shields flickered, then failed entirely. Mara watched through the viewport as massive energy cannons powered up to late. The humans had gained the upper hand, and they struck with devastating force. Missiles, lasers, and plasma weapons tore through the alien defenses, destroying supply lines, storage facilities, and the core energy reactor. The alien fleet scrambled in response. Fighters swarmed, capital ships fired with deadly accuracy, but the humans were prepared. Electronic jamming disrupted alien coordination, decoys misled their attacks, and every maneuver was calculated to maximize damage while minimizing losses. Inside the hub, Mara's team executed boarding operations. Soldiers moved swiftly through corridors, neutralizing alien forces and securing critical technology. They planted charges to ensure the hub would be completely destroyed if retreat became necessary. Every step was precise, every decision mattered. By the time the humans retreated, the alien hub was in ruins. Explosions rocked the orbiting structure, sending debris into space. The fleet escaped through a nearby asteroid belt, narrowly avoiding interception. Human ships emerged battered, but victorious, carrying critical technology and supplies captured from the hub back on Earth. The news of the victory ignited celebrations. Humanity had struck deep into enemy territory, destroyed a key installation, and returned alive. The message was clear. Humans were capable of offensive power, strategic planning, and courage that rivaled any alien force. Yet, amidst the triumph, there was a sober realization. The alien coalition was vast, their strength overwhelming in numbers. This victory had slowed them, but it had also angered them. Retaliation was inevitable, and the next battles would be even fiercer. Mara reflected on how far humanity had come. From Vega 12's destruction to their daring attacks deep in enemy space, humans had grown stronger, smarter, and more united. Fear had turned into courage, despair into determination. And that was the true strength of humanity, not technology, not weapons, but the will to survive and fight against impossible odds. Commander Reyes addressed the fleet, his voice calm but firm. We have shown them that humanity is not to be underestimated. We have begun turning the tide, but this is only the beginning. We must be ready for anything, and we must continue to strike where it hurts most. The galaxy will learn a lesson it will never forget. Humans do not surrender. Mara looked out at the stars, thinking of the destroyed hub, the alien fleets, and the battles yet to come. Humanity had grown stronger with every challenge, and the galaxy would soon understand that a single human outpost destroyed could lead to consequences far greater than anyone had imagined. The war was no longer just about survival. It was about proving that humans, even when outnumbered and underestimated, could rise to any challenge and leave a mark that no enemy would forget. The galaxy trembled with the news of the destroyed alien hub. For the first time, reports of human strikes had shaken not just small patrols, but entire sectors of the alien coalition. They had underestimated humanity, and now fear was beginning to spread. Commander Reyes convened a council with Earth's top leaders and military strategists. The data from the last missions revealed something critical. The alien fleets, though technologically superior, were slow to adapt. Their strategies were rigid, their formations predictable. Humanity had a chance to exploit this, Mara Ellis prepared once more. This time, the mission was unprecedented. Entire human fleets would converge on a major alien command station, a hub that coordinated fleets across multiple star systems. Destroying it could cripple the coalition for months, maybe years. The risk was enormous, but the potential reward was greater than anything humanity had achieved so far. As the fleets assembled at the edge of human-controlled space, tension filled every ship. Pilots checked their weapons and shields, soldiers reviewed strategies, and engineers ran final diagnostics on every system. Each human knew that failure meant not just death, but the possibility of a galaxy lost. When the fleet entered alien territory, Mara marveled at the scale of the coalition's defenses. Hundreds of ships patrolled the sector, energy shields lit the void, and massive battle stations glowed ominously against the stars. It was overwhelming, but the humans had a plan. The attack began at night, coordinated with military precision. Human ships split into multiple squadrons, striking from unexpected angles. Mara led the central squadron, targeting the command station's shield generators. Missiles streaked through space, plasma cannons fired, and the station shields began to falter. The alien response was immediate. Interceptors swarmed the human fleet, and energy beams cut across the void. Explosions rocked ships, and alarms blared across the fleet. Mara's heart pounded, but her hands remained steady. Every maneuver, every shot, every decision had been trained for this moment. Inside the command station, human boarding teams faced fierce resistance. Alien soldiers moved with deadly precision, but humans had learned from every previous battle. Mara's team used speed, strategy, and teamwork to bypass defenses, planting charges at critical points in the station's core. Each step was calculated, each second precious. The battle above and inside the station reached a climax. Energy beams collided in the void, lighting up space with deadly brilliance. Mara watched as alien ships tried to regroup, but the humans' tactics were unpredictable, chaotic in a way the aliens could not counter. Decoy drones, electronic jammers, and precision strikes tore their formations apart. Finally, the station's core was destroyed. Massive explosions shook the orbiting hub, sending debris into space. Alien fleets scrambled in disarray, retreating to regroup. Human ships, though battered and damaged, had achieved what many thought impossible, a decisive victory that would echo across the galaxy. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted. Humanity had struck at the heart of the alien coalition and survived. The victory was not just military, it was symbolic. Humans had shown that even against overwhelming odds, they could fight, adapt, and conquer. Fear had begun to creep into the alien ranks, but there was no time for rest. Commander Reyes reminded the fleet, "The aliens will come back. They will adapt, and they will seek revenge. But we have shown them that humanity is not weak. Every strike, every battle, every life we save strengthens our place in the galaxy. We are not victims. We are hunters." Mara reflected on everything they had achieved, from the devastation of Vega 12 to the daring strikes on enemy hubs. And now the destruction of a major command station. Humanity had grown stronger, smarter, and more united. Fear had been replaced with determination, chaos with strategy, and weakness with power. The galaxy was changing. Alien fleets that once moved with confidence now hesitated. Systems that had been secure were now vulnerable. Humans were no longer prey, they were a force the galaxy had to respect. And somewhere in the dark expanse of space, alien leaders whispered warnings to each other. They had underestimated humanity, and now they realized that their arrogance might cost them everything. Mara looked at the stars, her eyes burning with determination. Humanity had turned the tide, but the war was far from over. Every victory, every risk, every life lost had brought them closer to proving a truth that no alien could ignore. Humans were dangerous, resilient, and unstoppable when pushed to the edge. The fight had only just begun, and the galaxy would soon learn that humanity's wrath was something no civilization could escape. The destruction of the alien command station had sent shockwaves across the coalition. For the first time, fear spread through their ranks. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were angry, desperate, and vengeful. Alien leaders convened in secret, devising a plan not just to retaliate, but to crush Earth completely. Commander Reyes received intelligence reports indicating massive fleets heading toward human space. These ships were bigger, faster, and more heavily armed than any the humans had faced. The aliens were prepared to obliterate everything Earth had built in a single strike. Mara Ellis and her crew stood on the bridge of Vanguard, one of Earth's newest warships. Every eye was fixed on the incoming fleets displayed on the holographic screen. The size of the force was staggering, thousands of ships moving in perfect formation. It was unlike anything humanity had seen. The aliens were determined to wipe them out. Reyes spoke to the fleet with calm authority. They think they can intimidate us. They think their numbers will overwhelm us. But they have underestimated humanity's strength, our ingenuity, and our will to survive. We will not run. We will fight, and we will make every inch of space a battlefield they will regret. As the alien fleets entered human space, Mara felt a surge of adrenaline. Pilots and soldiers moved with precision, weapon systems ready, shields charged to maximum. Humans had learned to anticipate alien tactics. They had studied every possible scenario and prepared countermeasures that could turn desperation into opportunity. The battle began in a fury of light and sound. Alien ships opened fire with overwhelming energy beams, destroying satellites and smaller human ships instantly. Explosions tore through the void as lasers and missiles lit up the darkness. Humans returned fire with everything they had: plasma cannons, missile barrages, and advanced weapons adapted from the technology Mara's team had captured. Despite the aliens' overwhelming numbers, humans used strategy and cunning to even the odds. Mara led a squadron through an asteroid field, using the terrain to shield them from enemy fire while striking at critical supply ships. Earth's engineers had developed new cloaking and jamming technology, causing confusion among the alien fleets. Ships collided, energy beams misfired, and chaos spread through enemy lines. On the ground, human colonies prepared for invasion. Automated defenses, weaponized satellites, and newly developed energy shields were ready to counter orbital attacks. Every civilian was trained to act in emergencies, turning ordinary cities into fortified strongholds. Humanity's unity was becoming its greatest weapon. Inside the alien fleets, panic began to spread. Commanders shouted orders, but communication breakdowns and human hacking made coordination impossible. Ships that were supposed to protect each other became isolated targets. Mara exploited these weaknesses, leading precise attacks that tore apart sections of the fleet without overextending her squadron. The battle raged for days. Human losses were heavy, but every victory counted. Key alien ships were destroyed, supply lines severed, and alien morale fell. Mara's crew, along with thousands of other humans, proved that courage, strategy, and adaptability could overcome even the most terrifying odds. In a daring move, Mara led a strike team directly toward the alien flagship. Using a combination of stealth, speed, and jamming technology, they bypassed defenses and planted charges in the ship's core. Explosions rocked the vessel, crippling the fleet's coordination entirely. Alien forces, once confident, were now in disarray. Back on Earth, Commander Reyes watched the reports. Humanity had survived the retaliation and inflicted devastating damage in return. The message was unmistakable. Humans were not just survivors. They were warriors capable of defying an entire galaxy. Mara reflected on the battle, thinking of Vega 12, the strikes on alien hubs, and the sacrifices her crew had made. Humanity had been pushed to the edge, but instead of breaking, they had risen. Fear had turned into courage, and desperation into brilliance. Every human who had fought, survived, or given their life had contributed to a legacy of resilience that no alien could ignore. The alien coalition retreated, their forces broken and scattered. Humanity had not just survived, they had proven their dominance in ways the galaxy had never seen before. But Mara knew the war was far from over. The final battle loomed on the horizon, a confrontation that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire human race, and in the hearts of every human watching the stars. One truth burned brightly: the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humanity did not surrender. Humanity fought, and when pushed to the edge, humanity unleashed a power that could destroy even the most advanced civilizations. The war had reached its peak, and the galaxy held its breath. The final confrontation was coming. The galaxy waited in tense silence. The alien coalition had been battered, scattered, and humiliated. Their fleets had lost hundreds of ships, their command stations destroyed, and their morale shattered. But the aliens were not finished. They still controlled vast sectors, still had numbers, and still believed they could crush humanity if given one final chance. Commander Reyes gathered Earth's leaders in the Global Defense Center. Every eye in the room was focused, every mind sharp. "This is the moment," he said. "The aliens thought they could destroy us with fear. They thought one outpost, one hub, One strike would show humanity our place. They were wrong. Humanity will answer not with words, not with surrender, but with force that cannot be ignored. Mara Ellis prepared her crew for the final mission. The target was the heart of the alien civilization, the capital world of the Coalition. It was heavily guarded with planetary shields, orbital fleets, and deadly energy weapons designed to annihilate anything approaching. But humans had learned every weakness in the alien strategy. They had adapted, evolved, and planned a strike that would end this war once and for all. As the human fleet approached, the alien defenses opened fire. Energy beams lanced across space, interceptors swarmed, and orbital turrets rained destruction. But the humans moved with precision, using the lessons from every battle. Cloaking systems, jamming fields, and decoy drones tore the alien formations apart. Mara led the central squadron, weaving between fire and explosions, aiming for the planetary shield generators. On the planet, the alien forces were in chaos. Communication breakdowns and human strikes had left them vulnerable. Mara's boarding team deployed from orbit, infiltrating key structures to disable defenses and create pathways for the fleet. Explosions shook the ground as charges detonated, destroying energy cores and crippling the alien war machines. Above the planet, humans unleashed their full arsenal. Missiles, plasma cannons, and new energy weapons fired in waves. Each strike calculated to maximize damage while protecting human lives. Alien ships fought back desperately, but their movements were uncoordinated. Humanity's combination of strategy, technology, and sheer courage was unstoppable. Mara's eyes widened as they breached the final shield. The capital world was exposed. She gave the order to fire everything at the central command complex, the hub of alien civilization. The blast tore through structures, reducing the mighty city to rubble. Ships crashed, shields failed, and the alien leaders realized late that their civilization was falling. Back on Earth, people watched the news in awe and disbelief. Humanity had achieved what no one thought possible. An alien civilization, advanced and powerful, had been erased. Every sector, every fleet, every command structure that had threatened humans was now gone. The galaxy had witnessed a force unlike any it had ever seen, humans defending themselves, striking back, and prevailing against impossible odds. Mara and her crew floated above the ruined world. Watching the aftermath, silence replaced the chaos, a quiet that felt almost surreal. Humanity had survived every challenge, adapted to every threat, and emerged victorious. Vega Wells' destruction, the desperate strikes, the massive battles, all of it had led to this moment. Commander Reyes spoke over the comms, his voice calm and proud. Humans have shown the galaxy our strength. We do not surrender. We do not beg. We fight, and we endure. Today, humanity has proven that even against the most powerful civilizations, we are unstoppable. Mara looked at the stars, thinking of every life lost and every victory won. Humans had endured fire, destruction, and fear, and they had responded with courage, unity, and brilliance. The galaxy had underestimated them, and the mistake had cost an entire civilization. For the first time in centuries, the stars were quiet. The alien fleets were gone, the capital world destroyed, and humanity stood unchallenged in that sector of space. Humans were no longer prey, they were masters of their destiny. Warriors respected and feared across the galaxy. Mara smiled, feeling the weight of what had been accomplished. Humanity had been pushed to the edge, faced impossible odds, and survived. But more than survival, they had triumphed. The war was over. The galaxy would never forget the lesson humanity had taught. Never underestimate humans. And as Earth shone brightly in the distance, Mara knew one truth more clearly than ever. Humanity had not just survived, it had risen. Stronger, smarter, and more terrifying than any enemy could imagine. The stars belonged to humanity now.